So I actually wasn't gonna film a video for like a few weeks, but then I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. Obviously with all the shit that's going on right now, I didn't feel like filming like a normal makeup tutorial, just anything like that. And I was considering just not filming for a few weeks until I felt like back to normal or anything, but then I just thought that I should at least post something. So I literally got the idea like an hour ago I got the feeling that I wanted to do it like an hour ago, and I basically just wanted to talk about obviously the whole George Floyd thing that's going on, but also not just about him, but just about racism in general, because obviously he's just one example of something that has been going on for too long. Well, it should never even been a thing, but it's something that's been obviously going on for too long, and just, as we all know, just needs to start. Like for me, I didn't want to just post a fucking makeup tutorial and just act like everything's fine, because it's not. And for me, obviously I just go off like what I feel myself, and for me, I'm a very emotional person. I feel what other people feel quite a lot, and even if I don't know the person, even if it's someone online or literally someone that I don't know, I feel a lot of people. Sorry, my cat's like coming up. I feel a lot of emotion basically, and it was something that was just bothering me. Obviously I've seen it posted online everywhere, and I just wanted to talk about it for a little bit. And originally I wasn't gonna post anything on my YouTube channel just because I thought, you know, I only have like what, 1,000 subscribers, like it's not a lot of people, it's not a huge following to have on a platform. Obviously I know it's still a following, and I originally obviously wasn't going to post anything because I thought, is it really going to make a difference? Is anyone going to watch the video? But then I thought, even if one person watches the video, if one person listens, and if one person, you know, I can share some information, I can share my personal experiences, I can, oh, sorry. Okay, you're gonna have to sit down, hon. Well, we have a guest. Great. I am so sorry. Even if, you know, one person listens, or I can spread awareness to one person, and maybe that one person can spread something to someone else, then at least I'm doing something. And then I decided that I should obviously do that. So that's why I'm obviously doing the video. Obviously I changed my mind and obviously thought, you know, that's what I wanted to do. I still wanted to do it even if one person watches the video. Because I think even if one person does something, you know, that can have like an effect, someone can tell someone else, or like whatever it is. Sorry, I'm like going off a notes page as well, because I always like forget what I want to say, and then I'll remember in the middle of the night that, oh, I wanted to put that in the video. Yeah, sorry about the cat, she's just gonna sit here apparently. I thought I would just do obviously this video. I don't want to make it too long, but actually, you know what, I don't care. If it's long, it's long, because this is important. But yeah, I didn't want to just post one thing on my Instagram story and then, you know, that's it. Obviously I didn't want to just carry on about my day and just post a makeup tutorial, because one, I haven't felt like it, and two, I just think it's a bit ignorant if I just didn't, you know, make people aware that this is obviously something that I do care about, and it obviously does bother me. Obviously most of the internet is literally talking about obviously George Floyd's murder and everything, but I wanted to make it a point for like me to talk about that. Obviously a lot of people know this, but like for me it's just like the bigger picture is obviously that, you know, he's one example of someone that's been murdered and has been obviously a victim of racism. Obviously it's different races, it's not just black, it's not just white, you know, all the races. You know, this is like one example that has obviously been filmed and has been showed to the public, and that the public have seen, and obviously we've reacted to it. Obviously that's still good. I think it's obviously still a good thing that people have, you know, reacted and made it and, you know, made people realise that it is obviously a big deal and shouldn't be happening. No, I don't think racism is a thing that people forget about. I just think it's easier for people that maybe don't experience it or don't see it to be less aware of it, if that makes sense. Obviously I'm not saying that it ever gets forgotten about, because for me I never forget about it, but I think it's just easy for it to kind of get buried, because you might not just be around it, or you might not see it, or you might not just experience it. Also obviously I live in the UK. I also don't think that other people that are in the UK or in other countries should think, oh, it's only in the States, why do I need to be bothered about this? I also think that's just stupid, and if you genuinely think that, then there is something wrong with you. Because it's still the world that you're living in, so I don't understand if people are thinking like that in any way as well. That just doesn't make sense to me either. Obviously I'm 21. When I was in high school and from a young age, we learn history from when we were like 12, 13. And for me, it was one of my favourite subjects. I always found it really interesting. And for me, it's just that like we got taught about racism and, you know, about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, like the whole movement and everything. And we grew up like literally in school learning about racism in like the 50s and the 60s. And for me, it's just something that from learning about it from a young age and just seeing that nothing's happened, it hasn't stopped, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like for me, it just like this honestly really bothers me. Like for me, it shouldn't be a thing. Like the word racism shouldn't exist because the meaning of it it just shouldn't be a thing, and it shouldn't exist. I don't understand it. I don't understand what makes people's brains just think or just literally have the thought that, oh, the colour of someone's skin, I don't understand how that makes someone have a different opinion or different thought on someone. I just don't understand. I think, you know, this whole thing and everyone spreading awareness shouldn't just be to white people, it shouldn't just be for black people, it should be for every single race. And I think that's important. And like for me personally, obviously we can see I'm not white. I have a Pakistani mum, obviously her side is Pakistani, she was born here, her side of the family are Pakistani. My dad was born in Kenya and he's Indian, so obviously I have a mix. Obviously me and my sister were both born here, so I've got parents that have, you know, they've told me and my sister both about, you know, when they grew up in school and stuff, how they were treated. I know they've both been victims of racism, you know, they've told me about it, they've told my sister about it, so, you know, I've heard from them. So, you know, it's literally not just, you know, white people targeting black people or the other way around, you know, it's not just, it's different races as well, you know, there's more than just two. And like for me, like my experience, I don't think I've ever actually talked to anyone about it, to be fair. Actually, I might have mentioned it to friends or something. Me, I think I've only ever experienced it once, and it was when I was really, really young, but it's something that literally, I still literally remember it crystal clear, but I literally don't talk about it because I don't tell people about it really, because it was literally such a long time ago. I only experienced racism to my face literally once, and I think it was when I was probably 8. I think I might have been even younger. I remember I was friends with this boy, so he was a white boy, and I remember we were literally just in the playground minding our own business, and he had this friend who was a girl, and she was also white, and he was wanting to introduce us to each other, and he like said to her like this is Mo, this is my friend, and the literal words that came out of her mouth, she didn't actually look at me, she didn't look at me in the eyes, literally didn't look at me, she just turned to like my friend, the boy, and she just said to him straight, I don't like the colour of her skin. And also I then realised that, I mean, that boy, I'm not friends with him anymore, obviously, and I wasn't like after that because I was a bit weirded out. Obviously I didn't understand it, but obviously I didn't understand why she said that. I didn't really understand where it came from because I was really young. But I literally remember the boy saying back to her, yeah, me too, but she's nice. I don't understand what, I literally never understood that whole situation. Like he was literally just as bad as her for responding like that. But obviously I was too young. If someone said that in front of me to me now, I would not have reacted the same. But I can't remember what I did or what happened after that, but that was the only one time I've personally ever experienced it. I've literally never forgotten about it, like I said. It disgusts me and it just baffles me really, because I don't understand how people can even think like that. But you know, that's literally just one example, you know. There's literally verbal abuse, there's emotional, mental, and obviously like, we know there is literal physical abuse that comes from racism, and it's just literally what I think everyone just wants that we just want to obviously stop. So yeah, I just wanted to obviously like talk about that, because I feel like as well with some people, maybe, you know, people don't talk about it if you've been a victim of it. I don't think there's a problem with talking about it. It might help. If you're confused about it, I think it's something you should definitely educate yourself on as well. I think doing research, I think, is also an important thing, because I feel like some people think, you know, that might be something that holds people back from maybe sharing something on social media, is that, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, because yeah, of course, it's a really delicate subject, and for me, that's what was kind of stopping me from posting something sooner. I was just like, oh, what if I say the wrong thing? But then I just thought, you can't really say the wrong thing if you're not racist. Like, if you genuinely aren't, you cannot say the wrong thing, because if you're literally saying how you feel and what you believe in, and you aren't racist, it's not going to come off wrong. You know, yes, you might word things that maybe don't make sense, because I feel like half the time I don't make sense, but you're not gonna say the wrong thing though. And I think obviously people with bigger platforms obviously need to spread awareness, or just, you know, do something to help, I think. I also think it's important that, you know, if you know yourself, obviously, that you're doing something personally. Like, for example, at the moment, I'm filming this the day before I'm uploading it. I'm filming it on Sunday. Up to now, I haven't posted anything on my Instagram about this whole thing, just because I've been thinking about what to do. I've done my own things personally, whether it's been signing a petition, anything, I've been doing that myself, and I think that's something that's also really important. You don't have to post a million things everywhere just to prove that you've done something. I think it's different if you're spreading awareness, because that's doing something to help. But I think if you're someone that has the mindset of, oh, I'm just going to repost this picture so it looks like I'm doing something, no. I was just thinking what to do and what was the right thing for me to personally do. But I also think that's the most important thing, is that each person themselves knows, you know, what they can do, or, you know, even if it's literally just saying a prayer, you don't have to physically do something like donate money or share something or anything like that. You could, you know, praying or just doing something in your own way is still a way of helping, and I believe that that's something that can still help and, you know, contribute to it. So I think that's like an important thing for people to remember as well. Me, it's something that always bothers me, and obviously I don't talk about it a lot to like my parents, my friends, anything like that, just because it's something that I never forget about it personally, just because I work with the public, I work in retail, and for me it's something I still see when I'm at work, unfortunately. Not daily, but I see it every now and then. For me, luckily, and I'm grateful that it's not in my workplace, it's not my management, it's not the other people I work with, it's not that, and the company as well, I don't think. For me, I've witnessed it and I've seen it and I've experienced it with customers. Not blatantly, but I can feel it. I honestly, like, I can feel energy with people a lot, and I can feel it. And I've seen it with, you know, some of my friends that I've worked with, when we've dealt with someone that we've known has been like racist, like I can feel it and I know it, and my friends have even said, yeah, that person, we know it. Like, it's something that still obviously happens, it's still around in the world, and I think it's important for people to just realise that and just remember that it's not something that died down and is literal history, because it's still a current thing that is still obviously happening. It's easy for some people to kind of forget about it if it's not something you experience. And I think, you know, people have obviously been talking about white privilege a lot and stuff like that, and I think it is an important thing for people to talk about, and I think it's right that people are talking about it, because sometimes, you know, it's kind of like that phrase when people say that you take things for granted and stuff, but it is, you don't realise things sometimes if you're given them a lot. You only notice maybe if something's taken away from you, I think. I don't know if that made sense. So I feel like, you know, that kind of works with the whole white privilege thing. People might not be necessarily aware of it just because you're used to getting privileges like that, if that makes sense. Just wanted to, you know, make this video and talk about that obviously for a little bit. I know it is a very, very, very sensitive subject. I think, you know, I think everything does happen for a reason. I believe that. I genuinely do. So obviously with the whole George Floyd thing, I get that it's become a huge thing, and I think it's right to be a huge thing, but I also think that everyone should also look at the bigger picture, and that it's not something that hopefully will just die off and nobody talks about it again for like another year, and then we celebrate like an anniversary of some shit. I don't know. I'm hoping that, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people are hoping, that it becomes this huge movement again that can hopefully like actually make a change and stop it, because it shouldn't exist. I've said that before. It shouldn't exist. Racism shouldn't be a word, because the whole meaning of it, and it just shouldn't exist. So I think that is everything I wanted to talk about. I literally, like I said, I've kind of been going off my notes page, just a little thing so I didn't forget. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know when the next video, like a normal video I'm gonna post is. When I literally feel like it, I'll be back. I feel a lot better that I've done this video, and I'm hoping that once I've posted it as well, I will feel a lot better. I will leave, well, my Instagram, well, I have 2 Instagrams, but my main one that I use, I'll leave it on the screen, but I'll also leave it in my description box as well. I'm gonna maybe like post some links, or just like some helpful posts maybe. Obviously, if you want to donate, if you want to just spread awareness, whatever you can do is obviously going to be helpful. I will leave some links and stuff like on my Instagram stories for the next few days and stuff, obviously, or the next few weeks, whatever. Information, like every little thing does obviously contribute and does help. So yeah, I'll leave my Instagram on that as well if you want to have a look at any of the links or just any posts or anything like that. Yeah, I think I will leave it at that. So thank you for watching this video. If you've watched it in full, thank you, because it was important. And yeah, if anyone has any helpful links or anything like that, any websites for like information, donations, petitions, anything like that, then feel free to like obviously like comment them, leave them, whatever. But yeah, they're literally online everywhere, so I'm sure you can find them on anyone's profile or just anything like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.